Okay, I had posted a video on how to set up these basically a specific version of old Android X96 TV box with a newer ROM or newer firmware, so that it actually can work for an Android TV system, rather than being something that you might as well throw in the garbage because it doesn't work. So, but in the meantime, I actually discovered some other things. What I was trying to do is I was trying to figure out a way to actually make other remotes work with this system, and in my case it was specifically an MCE remote, and MCE remotes are obviously just kind of a standard where they're supposed to obviously work with multiple systems, but in order to actually get one working, in theory, what I had to do is basically set up a remote configuration on operating system that's called EmuELEC, and EmuELEC is actually just a standalone operating system with Kodi, if you know what Kodi is. And then basically, I just basically would just be able to program or make a program file for the MCE remote from within EmuELEC. So obviously, I found the proper version of EmuELEC, which actually works to as a remote in EmuELEC, but I didn't realize that basically they had EmuELEC had built-in support for the MCE remote, so I actually didn't have to do any programming. I just have to take a copy of that specific configuration and copy it over to the Android system. But anyway, the only reason I'm mentioning that is because EmuELEC just works, and all you have to do is basically make a flash drive with EmuELEC, insert it into the Android TV box, and then just basically restart it with the external media in the box. So that may be I kind of just started looking at other things because I didn't didn't figure it would work. Like Betocera really doesn't work on this specific box because it doesn't boot. Betocera will not boot if off any external media like EmuELEC was. So what I actually did was obviously there's other basically there's other things that are related to EmuELEC, which one is like CoreELEC and the other one is actually called EmuELEC, which is actually the purpose of making this video. And actually EmuELEC is actually a copy of a retro gaming system that actually runs on these boxes. It's actually not the newest version, but they do have a version that actually works, and so I guess I would just say that the version that actually needed to download and flash to the media was actually 4.43 or 43 point something, and the newest version is actually 4.47. But I think that that also might be the final version because they're actually discontinuing development on the on that, EmuELEC project. So, but anyway, I guess the whole point is that the Android box is actually a decent multi-purpose box, because in the same way that actually you can flash EmuELEC to some external media, you can also do that with EmuELEC, and then basically all you need to do is start the box with media in some drive. It could be like I say, the flash drive or the micro SD slot, and then just like I say, essentially restart the computer. So what I'm just going to go ahead and do here now is it's not going to work for me to try to reboot the box and then have it load from the media. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm just going to power it off, which is the recommended method if you don't want to use it anymore and just don't want to just leave it on. You would just power it off, plug in the flash drive that I just created with EmuELEC on it. So now you should actually see this screen, EmuELEC, and what it actually does, on initial startup, is to expand the operating system to be cover the whole contents of the media that you actually are using to run it. So this is obviously a 16 gigabyte drive, and so basically it just expands the ROM partition or whatever it's called to take up the entire space of the drive. And then so you can maybe see at the very top where it says that a job is running to for setup configure, and then basically it just gives kind of the time that's elapsed. Is actually what like I say, is what it's doing is just basically doing the initial setup so that the EmuELEC is actually ready to go once this is done, and then it'll just basically, you'll see it'll load the interface, and we should be able to I should just be able to show you what it looks like, and I haven't, obviously, because it's just the initial boot. It'll only include whatever games that the flashed image might have included, and I would actually have to install any of the games that actually want to play on the system before or after it's that whole process is done. So in my case, I actually since I'm a Linux user, I basically just unplug the flash drive when the system is powered off, and then just plug it into my computer, and then I can just copy the game files to to directly to the flash drive, and also update the BIOS if need be. So but anyway, obviously the whole process has actually been done. So the flash drive is ready to go, and this is kind of just a preview of what it looks like. I mean, I don't know that there's a huge difference between most retro gaming interfaces, where like there's RetroPie and there's Betosera and all them, and stuff like that. You can do stuff to to reconfigure the background and the audio and all kinds of different things. But essentially, this is just basically the basic interface. And I don't know. I'm gonna just check here because I didn't really check. It looks like probably doesn't include any games. Oh, maybe it does. I don't know if these are. I can just see if. Um, I assume that obviously these the games here, you, any flash drive media you usually see that it's going to include uh, some older copy of Doom, and obviously it has a few other games here that I've probably not seen on other things, but um, they're actually allowed to distribute with the media because there's no nothing that prohibits them from doing so. So essentially, I could see if I could just load a game here, and this is actually, like I say, just loading off of the X96 box, and it looks like we want to download some resources before it can actually run. Well, anyway, it looks like it's doing its thing here, but while it's doing that, I guess that thing is that I just kind of wanted to show you the basic interface for what it looks like, and let you know, or let people that view this video know that there's other things that you can actually do with these old cheap boxes. Like you see, you can set it up for watching TV, and as a retro gaming system, and all you have to do is basically set up the appropriate software, and that would be EmuELEC works, so you could actually run Kodi on something that isn't run under Android, which in some cases might be beneficial, because the thing is that obviously running Kodi from within and Android obviously it takes more resources than it would if it's just running from within EmuELEC, because uh, there's less overhead from in EmuELEC than there is going to be with loading Android interface. So looks like this is all good, but I guess it just kind of points out where what you might see initially set up the interface and try to play games, but the whole the rest of the process is actually to if you want to play more games on it, you just basically just install them on the system, and then update the BIOS files if need be, because sometimes they're not up to date, and so basically the games won't run properly. And so that would be the only reason you'd obviously make sure you'd want to make sure that the BIOS is compatible with the games that you want to play. And other than that, I guess so obviously that got done. Let's see if we can actually get this to load. Some games actually don't work with the controller like you think you do, so I'm not going to try to spend any more time trying to get it to run, so I'm just going to see if I can get out of it. So, like I say, basically the whole point was to actually show, what else you could actually do with these old, boxes. And they're, I guess, in my opinion, they're just fine for watching, streaming video, and they're just fine for retro gaming. And you just got to consider what you're getting for, like, possibly no more than $20, as long as you're able to just do the flashing of the box and creating of the external media that you would run, like retro gaming from, and or external version of, like Kodi. But you know um, I guess that's the whole point of making these videos. I mean, obviously this is not necessarily a tutorial, but if you were able to actually uh, watch the video and upgrade your X96 box, that's like the ones that I have, then you obviously be able to flash uh, a micro SD or USB flash drive with some gaming software, retro gaming software, and set it up. So show what you could actually do, with these boxes, and if if you actually had one, you know, you may not want to throw it in the garbage, and if you don't have one, you might be able to find one for really cheap, because they're not exactly the newest boxes available out there. So I appreciate you tuning in, and hope you see you the next time around.